So this is just going to be a quick video on diagnosing a temperature sensor fault with this Mercedes A-Class. It's 2014. It's got the 2-litre diesel automatic box in it. And basically, customer complaint is engine management light was on. Plugged it in and we've got upstream temperature sensor 1 malfunction. Now, you'll be able to see this probably better than I can if I show you. So it's that temperature sensor just there in the manifold. So it's actually the one that goes into the manifold, which this wire here is connected to. Yeah, that one just there. So that's the temperature sensor in question. If you come over to this side and you look just behind that eye there's where it plugs into. There's a little bit of a wiggle to get it out. And I've knocked my probe out so that my experiment that I can show you to check this is going to not work. So temperature sensors change resistance value based on temperature. If you don't know, you probably do know, but yeah, I can't do that. 1 second. Better. So they change value based on temperature. So obviously this engine's warm, so if you was testing this, you would need a range for that temperature sensor. Now, I don't really need a range for this one in particular because we are open. So that temperature sensor does not work at all. There is absolutely no. Now if I touch the probes together, you can see the meter changes. So we do have meter and everything's good. And that sensor is just bad. We do have a excuse me, a new temperature sensor here, a Mercedes one we've gone for in this occasion. So the part number for this particular one is there. Although you ring any local Mercedes dealer, they will obviously find you the part. So now we'll just put the multimeter in this one. So we've got the multimeter plugged into that one now. As I say, the temperature range is, you can still have a faulty sensor, and you would have to get the spec for different temperatures for resistance. Now, this is a brand new sensor. You can see we are in ohms, and we are 215. Now, that is at ambient temperature. Now, obviously, if you was doing this test, like the one on the car, if it did work, because the car's warmer, the resistance value would be different to this one on the bench. So you are better off doing that sort of test cold. So as a good value, you would know that around 115 ohms at where probably 15, 16 degrees today. So that sort of temperature is good. If I hold that, technically it should change, but holding it will take ages because this is designed for quite high temperatures. There you go, it's creeping up. So you could check the resistance of that and then start the engine with it cold and then watch and see if the resistance goes up. Now, I have seen temperature sensors commonly fail at high temperatures like DPF regeneration temperatures. They can't handle the high heat. This one obviously has just failed altogether. But sometimes you can test sensors and they will be absolutely fine. But if you remove them and then test them on the bench, you know, you'll put a lot of heat into it and it'll get to a point and it will just start going, the numbers will just start going and not making any sense. It will start going to mega ohms, kilo ohms, and jumping around all over the place. Now, this is dead, so that's kind of not a problem. We know that the sensor's dead. The issue is now going to be getting it out of the vehicle. So now we've got to try and get that temperature sensor out. Now I have already tried putting a spanner on it, and I can tell you that is in there. They always are. They're just nipped up with a few Newton meters, and then the heat and the corrosion get to them. The problem is that you do have a difference. So this is all stainless steel, whereas obviously the manifold is cast. This is a 2014 car, that's been in there from new. Now, because I know the sensor is bad, and it doesn't matter what we do, the sensor's got to be changed, because we can't fix the problem without changing the sensor, regardless of how escalated it gets. What we need to do is try to get a really good purchase on this nut, because if you don't, you'll round it off. Now the problem is this is slightly recessed in a heat shield, so it will be easier, because I could just get this spanner down and on it, but it is solid, and then it felt like it was trying to round the corners over. So what I need to do is get a shorter socket on it. So my favourite trick for doing that is, the sensor's already dead, we actually can't physically make it any worse. Knipex to the rescue. So we are going to take this into the car, we are going to put that in there, and we are going to cut the end of the sensor off. Like I said, it does seem a little extreme, but we're not bothered about the sensor. We know it's dead, it's got to be changed to make the vehicle, to fix the vehicle, regardless of what it takes. So we're going to chop that off, and then we are going to get a socket on it and a ratchet, and we are going to try to undo it. It probably will still feel amazingly tight. The next thing I will try is to wiggle my induction heater down the back of the engine over this tab and try and heat this up. If you can get an induction heater on these, they do come out quite easy, but it is getting the induction heater over it that is generally the problem. So we're going to try that next and see how we go.